Okay, in this video I'm just going to kind of draw a diamond. There's someone that was having difficulty drawing a diamond, and I figured why not make a video where I create one. I think the main trouble that the person was having is that they couldn't get the shape to look right, so I'm going to try and focus on that. But first I'm going to kind of use a neutral tone for the background, just so that I could get just so that the values kind of stand out more. And I'm not going to use any references. I'm just going to attack this by doing whatever I think it should look like, I guess. But basically I'll just start with a black color just so that I can get the general shape. Basically it's something like that, and then I'm just doing like a standard or the common diamond shape that you expect to see. So anyways, I have that now, and basically what I want to try and do is get the surfaces to look like it has dimension to it, and that the object's actually three-dimensional, or has some shape to it. And the best way that I can kind of describe how to do that, this is how I explain it, or it's the best way that I figured out how to explain it. But basically, like, if you have like a piece of paper, I have some drawing stuff on here, but anyways, just look at like the whiteness, the blank page, and basically you have like a light source, and so depending on the way the surface is facing, if it's towards the light, it kind of catches more of the light, whereas if it's not facing it, it catches less of the light. Of course I have two light sources. I have like a window and this lamp, so that's kind of confusing it. But anyways, if the surface starts to change direction or like bend, then there'll be like a transition involved between a dark value and a light value. So, and the more bent it becomes, the more distinction there is between the light side and the dark side. See that line right there? If I fold this so that the line is very crisp, you'll see that distinction more pronounced, as you can tell right here. Your eye actually feels the change of value, and so it kind of makes you interpret that the surface is changing angles, basically. So like you could have more than one change involved in the surface, and you get like different degrees of value change. So like this far one is like darker than this one, it's light over here, and the middle one's kind of in between, as you can kind of see. So anyways, how the value changes kind of determines or helps convey the angle of the surface in relation to the light source. So basically that's what I'm trying to think about when I draw this diamond thing. Of course, to do that I need to use different values, so I'll just pick a value that is kind of lighter and hopefully different from the background. So I have to kind of think which direction the light source is coming from, and I think I'm just going to kind of make each surface just one value to begin with and see how it looks. So let's try this. I guess I'll make it darker on the right side. And that's basically, what I'm doing is just making each surface here a different value. And if it's angled away from the light, make it darker. If it's angled towards the light, make it lighter. If you're having trouble like figuring out whether it should be light or dark or how light it should be, it takes kind of practice to become comfortable with understanding how bright it should be or how dark it should be, because in order to make a decision as to how bright or how dark it is, you have to kind of be capable of identifying the same situations in real life, I guess. So the more you look at stuff and notice how things change, the more you're able to kind of put that into your memory and then use that when you're creating an image. So a lot about art is actually observing things and just kind of looking at stuff, I guess. And you can do that at any time. You don't even have to be making art to do it. Just I gotta be observant. And oftentimes I don't create art for a period of time, and then whenever I get back to doing art, it feels like I've improved just because I've been kind of observant in the times that I'm not creating art. So I'm not sure what value to make this left one, because it's kind of underneath the diamond, whereas these top surfaces are kind of facing up towards the light source, and I guess I'm kind of trying to convey the light source kind of come down from over here, basically. But you can kind of see how that already has some kind of shape to it. And that's basically just by using a different value for each surface, basically, because at the edge of the surface is where the value changes. Because if a surface changes direction, it's going to create an edge. And with diamonds, they're like cut, so you have a lot of edges to the surfaces, or something like that. For an object that isn't as flat, or doesn't have flat surfaces, is more like curved, then the values will kind of transition more gradually and create like a gradient, rather than a distinct jump to another value, basically. So I guess now I'm just going to kind of refine certain things, like this edge over here. I could kind of get a bit more creative with it and kind of start smoothing out the edge here. Doesn't look too symmetrical at the moment. You probably wouldn't see too much black on a diamond because it's supposed to like catch the light and reflect it various ways, and so you probably would have like weird light showing up at different spots, and also because the diamond's kind of translucent, so you could see through it, and so you'd be seeing like surfaces from behind it and stuff, and there might even be like diffraction of the light, so the light will look like it's bending and things like that. So I guess the more you understand about how light works, the more you're able to kind of implement different things that make it look interesting or something. But I could kind of make the light go like that, kind of like it's catching the corner of the edge, and I can kind of make the light kind of go that way. Something like that. And I don't know. That side might be kind of bright since it's like facing the light source. Also maybe the top as well. Top should probably be pretty bright as well. So that edge right there, it's kind of like the top of it. Even though you don't really see the top, you kind of see just like the edge of the top surface, and that's probably going to be illuminated. So I have the other side seems to be more like a 45-degree angle. This isn't really straight, is it? It's alright. I'm not trying to be incredibly accurate here. Of course, the more time you spend on it, probably the more accurate you'll be able to make it. But this is just demonstration purposes, just so that you can get the idea on how to do certain things. And whatever you take from it is whatever you take. It's a weird color. It's more gray than bluish. You might get situations where it's like darker towards the center, as if you're like looking through it, and like I guess the darker it is, the more depth it appears to have, or more depth. Is that what I said? Depth? Yeah. So if I make that spot look darker, it kind of looks like it's getting pushed back into the diamond, kind of making it look as if there's kind of some change in distance, basically depth. So I can kind of do the same up here as well. I just got to be careful with it so that it doesn't make it look too weird, I guess. Just kind of experimenting with it, seeing what works, what doesn't. If it doesn't work, then you can change it back or whatever. So, but I'm just adding some dark here just so that I kind of get the impression that it's a little translucent. And you can see like values changing, kind of getting an impression that there's two surfaces kind of blending together, or something like that. So yeah, I guess that's gonna do it for now. I don't really know how to take it any further at the moment. I guess you could, like, if you wanted to, you kind of, actually I might mess it up. Can I get put kind of like reflections going on, like it's reflecting light or catching a reflection from something else. Or maybe just impurities within the diamond or things like that. Just a little details that kind of add a little bit to it, a little bit of detail that's kind of interesting, so that it just doesn't all look the same, So your eye like looks at it and is like, what's that? It's kind of interesting. But yeah, that's basically it.